What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Teej pack. Teej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teej Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teej Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teej Hanley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teej pack. Feel the Teej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. This is the Millionaire Morning Show, and it is Thursday, October 12th, 2023, year of our Lord. Welcome. We in the Friday Eve, and we trying to figure it out. We all just trying to make it, myself included. We all trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is exempt from the American dream. We all trying to figure it out against all odds. Real talk. I had a rough morning, but I feel better right now. Oh, see. And it's always a Dusty that's trying to, it's always a Dusty. Anyways, again, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. On top of that, make sure you get that Teej pack, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. We're going to go ahead and get the housekeeping out of the way right now. Also, shout out to everybody that's watching me on Facebook, everybody that's watching me on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Let me give a shout out to my dogs. Shaquille Brown is in the building on Cash App, and then also my dog, Mike That Dude. Thank you, Mike That Dude, for all the way and always holding me down. Also, let me give a couple of early shout outs to Miss Lady J. What up, Miss Lady J? And then also on top of that, Q-Bert Rain. What up, though? Says peace and blessings to you in the chat. The road to 50 M's. Shout out to the road to 50 M's in the building. Yo, this morning was a rough one for Ton Dog. $8,000 blunder this morning. I said, good God almighty. Let me go ahead and figure it out. Shout out to Next Level over there on Cash App. I appreciate you. Killing it, running it up. Look, when I decided to get into building houses and this real estate game and all of that, because building houses is a newer thing for me, but I'm learning and I'm figuring it out in the same way that a lot of you guys are figuring out traversing the terrain of corporate America or whatever it is going on in life, I already had expected, and I had told you guys what was going on. I had already expected for certain things to play out the way that it's playing out, and that I was gonna have to pay for some things or pay for some mistakes that I wasn't aware of. You take the beat down early so that you can then capitalize off of it later, and it just was come with the game, right? But you snap out of it, you keep it moving, and then you keep on working and you running it up because it's an opportunity for you to continue to become more successful as a result of it. So I'll be sharing with you everything that's going on. I got to make some runs after the show as far as dropping off some deposits. And then I got to send a wire over because I just acquired a new property. And so we going to run it up, and then I'm going to share all of my experiences and give you guys an update inside of the Patreon. And then we're going to continue to run it up. So, again, I appreciate you guys for continuing to hold me down. Also, Jamal Fowler is in the building, says, peace to you, Anton. Peace to you too, my friend. Peace to you too, my friend. All right, let's get to it. Let's run it up. Before we start to get to the show, let me go ahead and get a mental health check for the people in the chat. Let me know how y'all feeling this morning on a Friday Eve. I got paid today. Let me know how y'all feeling on a Friday Eve. Who got paid today? Who got paid yesterday? Who get that early deposit? You morning been rough for you too, Kojak? That's all right. We're going to get through this day. We're going to get through it. By the time that the day ends, we're going to be in the victory lane. We're going to be making victory laps. You know what I'm saying? By the time that the day ends, it's going to be victory laps. I see great, busy, run it up. Fantastic. Just leaving the gym. Shout out to Miss Bree. Focused. Busy. Yesterday. Get paid every day. Tuesday. Charged up. A little rough. Elated. Payday. Got paid yesterday. Busy grinding. Shout out to Sensei Zoe as a new Patreon member. Blew something yesterday. Big chillin', hopeful, happy, sharp. You got the flu, you'll be over at Centennial G. We got your back, big dog. We're going to make this entertaining for you today. Excited, incredible, grateful, great. World is over with, but I'm feeling ambitious. Good today. Skeptical, steady, charged, amazing. I think it's the weather. You got paid yesterday, KC. Okay, I see you. Working, exquisite. Black Tech Fest 23, chasing a bag. Learning the fix and flip business. I'm not really a fan of the fix and flip business. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to the money towards the end of the show. Sick, cool, overthinking, blessed. What else? How else y'all feeling? Hours got cut. That means that you got to go ahead and get a new bag. Get paid every day, says Millennial Mark TV. Filling up on Fiat. Let's get it. Good morning. Driven, apocalyptic, consistent. You got the vid over there, conservative heifer. One conservative heifer said they got the vid. I'm going to get y'all through y'all morning today. All right, let's go ahead and get cooking. So we got to bring some people to the front of the congregation. We got to have some conversations about real estate in the market because I want to give you my thoughts on the fix and flip business also, since that's what you into. So, I like to interact with the chat and see what's going on with the chat. Again, I appreciate you guys for continuing to hold me down. Listen, the one thing that I know for sure, and two things is for certain, is that no matter how difficult the day is, it can't be any more difficult than it is for Will Smith. No matter how difficult the day get, no matter what it is that you're going through, it's always going to be shining. The sun going to shine and rise tomorrow. It can never be as bad as what Will Smith is going through right now. Just remember that. When your hours get cut, you're sitting on the vid, know this, the vid is going to pass, but Will's still going to be married to Jada in the morning. You know what I'm saying? No matter what happens, her book is still going to be released this weekend. She's still telling all of the family secrets. Just take solace in that. No matter what happens, ladies, your man might be tripping out on you. Don't worry about it. He'll come back to the front of the congregation. Fellas, your chick may be out of control. Don't sweat it too much. Give her a pass. You know what I'm saying? because Jada still got that book out to publishing, already going out to people, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to all of the ladies, all of the fellas. If you're going through a little bit of something, don't worry. It's going to pass next week. It's going to pass tonight. It's going to pass tomorrow. And Will still got to deal with that chick and, you know what I'm saying, writing memoirs and tell-alls. So let's go ahead and get to the show, shall we? All right, let's run it up. So first thing that I want to share with you guys is, have y'all heard of this thing called walk a mile in her shoes? Have y'all heard of this thing called walk a mile in her shoes? Somebody shared this with me on Instagram yesterday. They say it's for a good cause, but honestly, it just looks emasculating to me. I don't really understand it. Y'all got to explain this to me. All right, so let's talk about it. Y'all got to explain this to me. So they have this campaign that's called Walk a Mile in Her Shoes. Now, this is something that's going viral on TikTok and Instagram. And when I went through the comments, there was a ton of comments that were basically like, oh, we in support of it. We rock with it. It's a great thing. And when I look at this video that y'all sent me inside of my Instagram, and Social Sis says, yes, it's for domestic violence awareness. Okay, cool. Let's have a conversation really quickly. I'm seeing men of all races, colors, creeds, backgrounds, professional backgrounds. I see a huge, big old police officer over there. I see that man over here. He walking with shoes. This is weird to me. This is so weird to me. I don't understand. Listen, I know y'all think that real men wear pumps and heels. Look at that police officer. And I had to mute the audio because obviously it has music to it and everything like that. And they got the walk it out, walk it out. I never liked that song anyway, honestly. That's one of the songs that I did not like. So as I watch this and I see these men going through a humiliation process and they wearing pumps, and no matter how masculine that they try to walk, it still is humiliating in my opinion. Here, let me try to pull up the comments that I was reading. I want y'all to see this because honestly, this is just weird to me. I don't even know if I could pull it up. Walk a mile in her shoes. All right, let me see if I can pull up these comments. It's crazy out here in these streets. I'm going to see if I can pull up the comments really quickly, and then we're going to go from there. I can't understand it, bro. I'm weirded out. This looks like a humiliation tactic to me, honestly. Let me see if I can pull this up for y'all. Real quick. Real quick. So check out the comments, yo. They laughing. Oh my God, look at the police officers. I'm actually impressed. They did good. Good job, fellas. I can barely stand in heels myself. They walking better than me. I tried wearing heels again at age 30. My ankles are on fire. Good job, guys. I'm so tickled, but I love this. What kind of humiliation ritual is this? What am I looking at right now? I don't understand, honestly. I genuinely don't understand what it is that I'm looking at. Why are we... That's the next one. Why are we normalizing this, and why is this cool to y'all? Is this cool to y'all? Look at that big old dude with them glasses on, with them khakis on. Why are you tickled, and why do you love this? And obviously they got more videos and stuff like that that highlight it. But I just can't understand it. Like, why is this cool to y'all? I love the swinging of the arms. Letterman jacket. Letterman jacket 8. 10 out of 10. On a serious note, blah, blah, blah. I love this, the way you could tell who practices wearing heels. Why? Okay, so here's my question as we go through this, before we get into the show. Here's my question. Do y'all think that there's an agenda that comes along with all of these self-awareness campaigns? What does it profit you? How do you bring more, like, what is this awareness supposed to be? How is it supposed to help us? Does it generate more revenue? Do y'all just do stuff? Does somebody make this up? How does this help domestic violence survivors? What is this doing outside of humiliating and normalizing things that's actually not what it's about? This is crazy to me. This is absolutely crazy. I don't understand it. Blaze Skywalker says he got a window of 30 minutes to watch, and he has a disagreement with me, so he want to have a conversation. All right, Blaze. Let me just ask this question, and then I'm going to bring you up, Blaze, and then I'm going to continue with the show. Why is it that men have to do it and women are not even the ones that have to do it? Why is this a thing? And why is everybody commenting? Look at the comments. Let me bring up the comments. I don't think I've ever been more proud of a group of strangers before in my life. As a former victim, we thank you. How does them walking in heels make you better as a person, or brings more awareness to whatever it is that you went through? I don't understand this. How are they standing up for you? Thank you, gentlemen. I get it. This is so amazing. Thank you for all of you that participated. This is why we don't listen to women, man. This is why we don't listen to women. We not going to sit here and take this stuff. Listen, I don't suggest that anybody walk a mile or walk 50 feet or 25 feet, 10 feet, 5 feet. Don't put your feet in a woman's heels. A lot of them doing it so well because they was practicing, and they should have never been practicing. This is not cool. My husband does this every year with his Rex heels. Jesus. What is a Rex heel? This is amazing. Yes, much respect and appreciation, all that you do. I love this. They all walking in heels better than I can. My brother used to do this in college and run a mile every year. That's awesome. Thank you, gentlemen. Love it. Yes, get it. Love this. Wow, I can barely walk up. This is a group of real men doing something with it. Why are you a real man? Because you're doing something that doesn't look masculine at all in order to just supposedly bring awareness. I guess I'm talking about it, right? Is that the awareness that y'all talking about? This is crazy. This is crazy. So, I don't know. I'm confused. In my opinion, this looks like a humiliation tactic. I think that all of this is just a trick of the devil. It's all just a trick of the devil. And Carlee says that she absolutely supported. Daddy says her husband has been practicing for years with her heels on, and he would strut the hell out of this. What the hell is going on? Honestly, I think that the world is coming to an end. This is a reflection of it. Let me go ahead and get Blaze Skywalker on here real quick. We're going to have to make it quick, Blaze, because I got a whole show planned for Blaze. Guess everybody got a disagreement. Hopefully it's about Chicago again, so we can go ahead and bring them back to the front of the congregation. Blaze, there's your link. Go ahead and let me know what's going on. While you trying to cam up and get yourself together, because I know you only got 30 minutes, let me go ahead and read the super chats, and then we can go from there. All right. So 187 says, what the F did I tune into to just watch? Shout out to you. Also, on top of that, Blaze said, I only have a window of 30 minutes to watch the show at lunch. I have a disagreement. I would love to discuss with you, my bro, but I can't make it to Fridays. All right, well then go ahead. Jump in. I'm right here. I dropped the link in the chat just for you. Ash says, what's wrong with you ninjas, men in high heels? Why? No wonder why women do not respect men today. Orange man bad. I'm done. It's all Jermaine's fault. This is weird to me. Love AD. Shout out to you, my friend. I appreciate you. 187 says, who bought all of them shoes? I have no idea, bro. I'm so weirded out by what's going on in society today. Real said they bring awareness by humiliating men. Yet one of the causes of physical domestic violence is men feeling humiliated. That's interesting. Jacob says, this is demonic. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I agree with you. David Simpson Jr. says, my feels, Anton, stop using logic. 187 says, this is making me grab my boots. And then Gray Lee says, Hamas has threatened terror attacks in U.S. soil and calls to kill all Jews and Christians. If this is what the U.S. men look like, then we're in for it. Well, we're going to address that too, because I got a different perspective on that. And I got a completely different narrative. Blaze, what's up, bro? Waiting on you, big dog. Blaze says, I'm not in an environment for a big dog is loud. So what do you want me to do, Blaze? I'm trying to drop the link for you. I'm dropping the link for you, big dog. Blaze, you let me know in the chat when you're ready to come up, and then I'll pivot for you. All right, big dog? So thank you for the cookie ball. I appreciate you. David Williams says the actors and the writers deal fell apart. Of course it did. And so they're now going to be starving out there, but we're going to bring that back to the front of the congregation. Anthony Garner says the men who are walking in those heels are not the ones that beat women. What is that? What does it say about the state of men and the psychology of women? That we should never listen to the people that are advocating for us to do these humiliation tactics. All right. So Blaze, I'm going to leave that in the chat for you. And then whenever it is that you feel necessary, go ahead when you get into a quiet place. Cam up or not cam up, just jump in. You don't even have to cam up and we'll have that conversation. All right, so we're going to get there in a second. Let's get to the thick of things. Let's get to the real part of the show. Carlee Russell. Remember her? Remember Carlee Russell? What up, Carlee? Remember Carlee Russell? Y'all don't remember her? Well, Anton had a lot of fun with Carlee Russell. Because it was such a sad situation, considering everything that she did in order to get the attention that she wanted, and she got the attention that she wanted, but she just so happened to be in an environment or in a city where they was playing no games. Well, according to the news reports from yesterday, Carlee Russell was found guilty. We gonna get there. But let me jog your memory for a second. Carlee Russell was the woman that said that she found a white baby walking down the side of the road on a busy highway that nobody else seen, only her. In the dark, when it was dusk outside, all right? And Carlee Russell was also an AKA. Let me throw that out there. Similar to Kamala Harris, my girl Cam. And Carlee Russell had already pre-planned this. And so what she did was she stole some stuff from her job. She went over to Target to get some food. She said that a man with orange hair had kidnapped her, a white man, and used the white baby as bait. And a lot of the people fell for it. Y'all remember that? Remember how y'all fell for that? Remember how Umar Johnson held us accountable for not holding her down? Remember how the Breakfast Clubs tried to finesse us and then cat for her and say, well, black people should be able to get a pass for it just because so on and so forth. And yes, Fix Your Posture, people were mad at Anton for clowning her when this came out because I never believed it from the get-go. And from the very first day that I heard about it, y'all said believe all women, and I said I don't believe that hoe. I don't believe her not one way or another. I can't believe her any further than I can throw her. She a big one. She is definitely a big one. This is Carlee Russell, and let me bring y'all up to date on what's going on with her.
All eyes in Hoover on Carlee Russell today, her case drawing the attention of the nation. Russell is accused of faking her own kidnapping earlier this year. At one point saying that she was kept by a man and a woman for a full day before she escaped and returned home. After several days of investigating, police decided to charge her with 2 misdemeanors. Our WVTM 13's Lisa Crane is in Hoover for us this evening. Lisa, Russell found guilty today, but she's since appealed, and she did so for a reason.
Yeah, what happened today is called a stipulated appeal. So the defense decided to forego this municipal trial and skip directly to the appeal up to the circuit court. Now, our cameras were here several hours ago and caught images of Carlee.
I know one thing, she ain't missed no meals since she, maybe she's stress eating. What do y'all think that is? Y'all think she's stress eating? You know, a lot of times when people are frustrated or they going through some things, and life is happening to them or whatever, because their Instagram profile look completely different than what it is that I'm seeing right now. Right now, it looks like she ain't missed no meals. I don't know where she working at. I don't know if they paying her good. I don't know what her parents is feeding her, so on and so forth. But she might be stress eating, meaning that she got a lot going on with her. She feels absolutely devastated by what it is that happened. She wants to take accountability for her actions, even though she's appealing the fact that she was found guilty. I don't know how you take accountability, but then at the same time, say that I'm appealing the fact that I was found guilty. Maybe it's just a formality and we taking advantage of the justice system. But Carlee Russell, for all intents and purposes, that's a big girl, man. That's a big girl.
Circuit court. Now, our cameras were here several hours ago and caught images of Carlee Russell entering Hoover Municipal Court with her family. The whole procedure relatively quick once things got started. During that procedure, Carlee had to stand in front of the judge and enter a plea. She pleaded not guilty to lying to police and falsely reporting an incident. Those are the only 2 words she said, not guilty. She was wringing her hands behind her back the entire time, clearly very nervous.
I know she kind of like fit the mold of the type of woman, that the body type of the women that y'all like. It's a big girl. She bigger than she was when she got arrested. That's for sure.
Nervous is anyone that go before a judge, municipal court, circuit court, but I think she understands what has happened. She has apologized. I know you all said not through me, but that's not good enough. But she has apologized for what transpired. I don't want her to have any type of breakdown or anything of that nature. So we're handling her with kid gloves and trying to make sure her mental state is just fine.
Handle her with kid gloves? That ain't how she handled that imaginary baby that she found on the side of the road. That ain't how it is that she did it when they was false reporting and out here trying to get in, you know what I'm saying, get involved with what was going on with her ex-boyfriend, trying to make him jealous. Where was she? I want to know the full story. I am very curious. Listen, after you do your time, y'all like that body type, Danny Star? I knew you did. I knew you did. I know that that's the type of chick that y'all like. Y'all like them thickums. Y'all like them thickums. Let me see. Yeah, that's what y'all like. Y'all like them when they get in the back seat. They test the springs and the shocks on your car. You know how when somebody get in the car and the back go, y'all like them thick. I know y'all like them thick. I'm cool with that. I don't have no problem with that. Everybody got a preference, no matter what. But she just looked like she's stress eating, honestly. She looked like she's going through a lot. So we also need to take that into consideration, all right? They said that they treating her with kid gloves because they don't want anything to happen to her or whatever, so on and so forth. You know, did she think about this? Why should we handle her with kid gloves when she had no regard for how everybody was going to be allocating resources in order to continue to deploy our police, our platforms, our time, our energy, the search and rescue team? So many people allocated money, time, and resources in order to ensure that this woman was found. And she was over there eating Cheez-Its and sipping on iced tea that she stole from Target. Didn't even pay Target. Did she pay Target? Did she pay Target? And why did she pick a white baby? Now, you know these white people ain't going to let you pick a white baby and get away with that if it ain't no white baby walking down the road. You know these people ain't going to pick no... And then Umar Johnson never even apologized to us.
What has happened. She has apologized. I know you all said not through me, but that's not good enough. But she has apologized for what transpired. I don't want her to have any type of breakdown or anything of that nature. So we're handling her with kid gloves, trying to make sure her mental state is just fine.
Okay.
Yeah, Lisa, she was found guilty today. Explain that.
Yeah, so the judge made that procedural move to declare and find her guilty now, because without a verdict, the case cannot be appealed and therefore move up to the circuit court judge. He did not hear evidence in the case, though. He simply made the ruling to the appeal, so that appeal can actually kick in. Now, the sentence recommendation on those charges was 6 months in jail on each of the misdemeanor charges, so a year in jail and a fine of about $1,700. The city is also asking, though, for about $18,000 in restitution for the search efforts. Her attorney indicated that they found that number fair, but really what they had a problem with is that jail time for misdemeanors for a person, Carlee, who has no previous criminal record.
So here's the thing. They want $1,700 fine. The sentencing recommendation based off of the prosecution and the judge is a 1 year in jail. Now, I'm trying to get y'all insight and information on this. I want to know whether or not you guys think that this is a reasonable recommendation. Guilty, in which she's appealing. 1 year in jail. They over there negotiating whether or not she should get 1 year in jail. That's what her lawyers and the prosecution is saying. Ain't that crazy? You can negotiate? Cool. And then $1,700 fine. And then the city is trying to actually levy an additional $18,000 in restitution that goes to the city for the search efforts and all of the different people that put in effort to go ahead and have this conversation in a press conference, so on and so forth. Now, when certain things happen with other people, there is no leeway. There is none of that, right? I remember Kwame Kilpatrick, the mayor of Detroit, and when whatever happened to him, they tried to lock that man up for the rest of his life for the text messages. For text messages, potentially having an affair, and they tried to throw my man under the jail, throw away the key. And this happens all the time. This happens to regular guys. This happens to politicians, so on and so forth. But whenever it's a woman, for whatever reason, it's a negotiation. She gonna get out for good time and all of that. So she don't want to do her little year in jail. Probably gonna help her get a little bit of that weight off. She can get her reps up. You know what I'm saying? $18,000. I'm sure her parents is gonna pay that. They was over there on TV acting like she was absolutely missing, and they was sitting there crying. She made her parents look like a fool. She made herself look like a fool. She made her sorority look like a fool. Everybody looked like a fool, including Umar Johnson. He never brought himself back to the front of the congregation, but he wanted to debate you, and he wants you to pay him to debate him $50,000. Wait on it. Yeah, wait on it. And so now they're trying to sentence her, and she's facing a year in jail. And $19,700 in restitution. Y'all let me know in the chat if y'all think that this is fair, that she should get more time, that we should be a little bit more lenient, and if she's being convicted in a court of public opinion instead of having a fair trial. And this was all just one big misunderstanding that Anton can get some clarity on when she get out of jail and when we can get that interview. Let me read a couple of these super chats and then we're going to move on with the show because I gotta get to Chicago. Give me a second. I know that y'all held me accountable yesterday and y'all wanted to debate about whether or not Chicago was a POS. I decided to go ahead and do a little bit more research so that I can understand what was happening in Chicago. So we're going to get there. Steven Slayer 1 says, women are the biggest initiators of verbal, emotional, and physical violence in the USA. Check out the data and the stats on it. I believe you. I'm taking your word for it. I know that if you're going to say it, then it's true, Slayer. T.Y. says, is it possible she was forced to do this part of her ritual for a sorority? No, I don't think that the AKAs is like that. They're a little prissy, but they ain't like that. Enforcer 2K9 says, I'm starting to feel like the helpmate thing was one big lie. Seems like more often than not, women's purpose for being is to lure men to their destruction, and they love to see it and support it. Well, that's what happens when you take the fruit over from the snake. You know what I'm saying? And my dog AL says it ain't her fault. It's all plot by Boss Baby and the UFOs to take over the world. She was set up, I tell you. Shout out to my dog AL. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the platform. I'm going to continue to read Super Chats throughout the show. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get down to business. Oh, no. I'm sorry. There we go. The highlight of my day. Listen, I believe that Brandon Johnson, by a long shot, from all optics, and of course, we can't include all of the small town city mayors because there's probably hundreds and thousands of them across the United States of America. But as far as major city mayors, even Eric Adams came and brought himself back to the front of the congregation. And he said, listen, guys. It is not in the New York City's best interest for you guys to continue to bring yourselves into the city. We need to cut off the faucet. Shout out to Marriage, Politics, and Sports. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. He said it is not conducive for you guys to bring yourselves into this city because we can't afford it. It don't make sense from it, even though I said that we was a saint. What is wrong with the likes? Y'all ain't got the likes up? We got over 1,400 people in here and counting, and y'all ain't got the likes up? What is going on in these streets? Come on, fam. Y'all know y'all being disrespectful right now. Come on, get your lives together. All right, I had to go and check that real quick just to make sure we was all on the same page. What is going on with the likes? Anemic. Anyways, I believe that Brandon Johnson is quite possibly the worst mayor in Chicago's history and the worst mayor in the United States of America by far. If you can think of another current sitting mayor, that is now governing today that is worse than Brandon Johnson. And don't worry, I'm working on a whole compilation of different mayors. I got to go over to Atlanta. I got to see what's happening in Denver. I heard St. Louis need to be brought to the front of the congregation. We know what's going on in Philadelphia, but he tried. New York doing what they do. They continue to tax the city residents and then make sure that the Airbnbs are shutting down everything. We gonna get there. What I'm trying to see, you say Brandon Johnson gonna pull up on me? He's supposed to be a God-fearing man. What I'm trying to understand is, do you think, and maybe I should put a poll up, maybe this should be a Friday conversation, is Brandon Johnson quite possibly the worst mayor in Chicago's history and the worst sitting mayor of any large city in the United States of America? I'm just curious. Let me go ahead and get into it because first I want to bring y'all up to speed on what's going on in Chicago before we can really start to hold Mayor Brandon Johnson accountable for his actions. Now, I know a lot of y'all going to be in y'all feels on this because you feel like Anton is not being fair to the city of Chicago. So, in order to frame this to help you to understand and see it from my perspective, I'm going to first help you to understand of what's happening at our borders and why we're so adamant about making sure that we secure our borders and don't become sanctuary cities. So, this is what's happening at our borders currently.
Here at home, there are some newly revealed threats on our southern border. Our Allie Bradley joining us right now since this alarm is being sounded over disturbing messages threatening the very people who process migrants who are coming into our country. Allie, what exactly are these messages and where do they come from?
Yeah, Adrian. So right now we're still working to get some more details, pretty limited right now, but these messages were actually going viral and CBP intercepted them and actually sent out an alert to Border Patrol telling them to be on high alert and to make sure that they have their body armor and their long rifles with them as well, because these messages were actually soliciting Border Patrol information like their addresses for money. They were also asking for the addresses of their relatives, even going as far as saying that that this individual would post whatever videos of torture of these agents that they actually would obtain. So really, really dark stuff here that these agents are dealing with. And of course, this comes as there are heightened concerns along our southern border as well. Of course, with the attacks in Israel and the threat of Hezbollah in North Israel potentially being a threat for them as well. We're looking into who are the people that are crossing our southern border right now and what are their intentions? Are they here for a better life or do they want to do us harm? So we looked through some data that we were able to obtain from our sources within Customs and Border Protection. And what we are able to find is that CBP actually encountered more than 8,000 migrants from special interest countries at the southern border in September. That's actually up more than 1,000 from the month prior. Now, these special interest countries like Lebanon, Iran, and Syria, they're areas identified by our government that present a national security risk, many of them with links to global terrorism.
So let me bring y'all back to the front of the congregation because I want to help you to understand what's going on in the United States of America. When you said, no, everybody is coming in peaceful and they just want a better life because they're from a displaced country or a displaced city or whatever, so on and so forth, and you fought against it and you said, well, no, we don't want to close our borders and we're going to vote against Trump because we just don't like the fact that he said that he liked to get some box from some chicks, right? Understand this, and I want y'all to really get it. I believe that if anything was to ever happen, then you have to be responsible for it. What they're basically communicating to you is that just in the month of September alone, they've ran into and intercepted, and this is just what they've encountered, over 8,000 migrants from special interest nations that essentially are identified by our federal government as places that bring in people that's not best for the country, right? And people was just walking on in here, walk on. Not only did they walk, they got a ride to their destination. Now, of course, a lot of you are familiar with the idea, and you don't know why, but you're familiar with the idea that they have a war going on between Israel and Hamas, right? And Israel is being supported, and they're getting weapons, and they got their first shipment from the United States of America, and we had these conversations about war stocks, right? And Hamas is looked at as the people that are inflicting pain against Israel, which the United States supports, okay? Just bringing it down to you, helping you to understand, giving you the cliff notes so that you don't have to watch all of the videos. Now, on top of that, we don't know who, what, when, where, why, and how. And in addition to not knowing anything about most of these people that are in our country, we're giving them jobs, we're giving them opportunities, we're taking care of them, educating their children, giving them health care coverage. Don't know what the objective is, haven't vetted them effectively, don't even know where they're from or what their intention was. But everybody just walked on in and we gave them a ride. We gave them a ride to wherever it is that they wanted to go. You want to go to Chicago? You get it. You want to go to New York? Gotcha. Atlanta? Fine. Denver? Awesome. El Paso over to Texas, over to your favorite city in Texas, over in Houston? Yep. Arizona? Florida? Florida said, we getting you up out of there. We got to send a bus over to Chicago. Okay? So now, not only that, they're trying to find the names, addresses, family members of the Border Patrol agents and the customs agents. And this is messages that's being intercepted and now being communicated on our nation's news. Okay? So, A, we don't know who's in here. And come on, man. I don't believe for 1 second that we don't know what the heck is going on. I believe that you guys have just been incentivized to do the thing that's not in your best interest, but we'll get there. So, A, we got a bunch of people over here that we don't know what their intentions is and we don't know where they're from. We've intercepted some of them, but the rest of them, who can say, right? B, they got a ride over to where they needed to go. C, the United States is supporting and sending over weapons and money over into a space where we don't really know where the money coming from. We don't know if it was a part of the, budget, whatever. And then D, we also know that you guys voted against securing our borders and then continuing to beef up the protection of the United States of America. Cool. Let's continue.
Patrol reporting encountering more than 76,000 people from special interest countries in the last fiscal year. That's more than 3,000 people from Egypt, over 450 from Iran, 375 from Syria, 114 from Lebanon, and more than 150 between Iraq and Yemen. Now, officials down here are on high alert. They're watching for terrorist organizations. Adrian, of course, we know that they would seek to exploit that southern border. We've been reporting it for years that the border is porous, and of course, they want to exploit that.
Carlee, real quick question for you. So are you saying that these messages that have been uncovered are somehow linked to potential terror groups that could be compared to Hamas?
No, I don't know if there's any link to Hamas or this war with Israel here, Adrian. It's just in kind of conjunction with what's happening and the heightened alerts down here on the ground. But for them to receive messages like that, threatening them and their livelihood and their safety as well, while they're also on heightened alert for potential terrorists crossing the southern border, that's a lot for them to be able to manage and also do their job at the same time. So that's one of those things. But this was just an alert that came out this week that we were able to obtain from an internal memo.
Just to make sure that you guys are not surprised. So let's continue. So now that we know that what's going on, Eric Adams said, you know what? Let me bring myself back to the front of the congregation, even though I made a mistake, a huge one, which I still don't think that he should be mayor of New York, but I'm not in New York. You guys like to vote blue. You do what you do. And then we're going to go ahead and criticize you for it. Eric Adams was recently asked a question about what was going on in his city and the potential for violence as a result of our open borders. And then more importantly, what's going on over in Israel, between Israel and Hamas. Let's take a look at that really quickly.
Yes.
I just want to follow up.
Yes.
Because you mentioned Lone Wolf. There was that instance where there was that bomb-laden car in Times Square. This could be an opportunity for somebody.
Did y'all know about a bomb-laden car in Times Square? Are y'all familiar with that? Because that's what this reporter is basically asking. The reporter is basically asking about a bomb-laden car in Times Square. Did anybody know anything about this? Is anybody familiar with it? Did it just fly under the rug? Did no news outlet pick it up? When did this happen? Where did it happen? She just asked the question over to Eric Adams, and Eric Adams is going to answer her.
Related to anything in Israel, just to act out.
Yes.
So what should New Yorkers be aware of? What should they be looking for? When do they call, see something, say something?
Well, this is definitely a moment where you don't want to live your eyes living in your phones. You need to be conscious of your surroundings. This is a very heightened period right now. You should be conscious of your surroundings.
And now y'all looking at the date. This is from 2 days ago, October 10th, 2023. This is not old. This is not old news. This is not from last year. This is not the year before. This is a conversation that was just being had 2 days ago.
And really, when we look at the New Year's Eve, I don't think people realize how well the police department responded to that threat. They terminated the threat, and they went on to protect the thousands of people who were celebrating New Year's
So it happened in New Year's. So in New Year's, this is something that was happening. Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Have cases where people will let off a bomb or something and then have a secondary device. And what the police department did, they made sure that they did not just focus their attention on that threat, which was a horrific threat because officers were injured. They immediately went back to protecting the entire city. And that's the same case here. And so, lone wolves are real. And they can get radicalized online. And they were carried out in action when, particularly when a call is placed out there to do something harmful. And so we must remain vigilant, but we need New Yorkers to be vigilant with us. It's a partnership to ensure the safety.
So Eric Adams is basically saying, listen, be on high alert. If you see something, say something. We're not putting anything past anybody. We don't know who is who. And then make sure you stay on your P's and Q's because we don't know what could happen. All we know is that we're trying to prepare ourselves for the possibility of what can happen. So now that I've prefaced this for you by being able to give you some insight and understanding of what's going on and why what's happening overseas is also potentially affecting what we got going on here, especially with our open borders, I like to just summarize it for you, give you the cliff notes to see students' perspective. let's move back over to Chicago because we have to bring Brandon Johnson to the front of the congregation. Don't we?
We have gotten to the point where we don't even have enough shelter beds. And even though we are opening a shelter every 6 days, we just can't get in front of it.
As temperatures drop, time is running out to get thousands of migrants indoors. Tonight, another community meeting was held, this time in the West Loop. In the meantime, the mayor is allocating millions for migrant aid next year. Plus, shocking revelations about the migrant busing program. Casey Cronus has the latest from the West Loop.
A top city official says those buses are dumping far more than dozens of migrants here. And what they are leaving is now a health concern officials are working to address.
Now we have buses that once they drop off at our landing zone, they dump all their sewage in front of our landing zone. So this is the type of behavior that we are encountering.
As the city faces new...
So, Chicago, as the buses come in, and they're offloading more migrants than ever before, even though we've warned you of this and we've seen it happening. And not only that, they're dumping all of the sewage from the journey from down at the southern border to get you over to Chicago, and they're dumping the sewage right there where they drop them off. Let's continue.
Challenges tied to migrant busing. The mayor's deputy chief of staff is calling for a single point person at the federal level to help.
Just in the last week alone, we welcomed 63 buses. This is purely a political stunt.
During his budget address, Mayor Brandon Johnson blamed Republicans for wanting to create chaos in Chicago.
But I don't flinch in the face of challenges, and neither does the city of Chicago.
Every 6 days, Chicago is opening up a new migrant shelter. Every 6 days, according to this report, Chicago is opening a new migrant shelter. 63 buses in less than a week. And Chicago is not flinching. Pointing the blame, giving us word salad, blaming Republicans, but not taking accountability and not being responsible to the residents in which you serve. Let's continue to hear Mayor Brandon Johnson break down how it is that we need to be looking at things.
Johnson wants to put at least $150 million towards services for new arrivals next year. Now, the city is still looking for what it's calling turnkey properties and has picked 2 more shelter sites in the West Loop. Families with children have already started moving into 30 North Racine, while single adults will be calling 939 West Lake Street home for now. Some aren't happy with the move.
You're going to be a sanctuary city, which I don't think I ever voted for. There's a lot of finger pointing and a lot of blame.
Others are offering support.
We live in a incredibly booming, prosperous part of the city. The least that we can do is be generous with our space.
While many still have questions.
It's an uphill battle, but what is the short, mid, and long-term plan?
This meeting came just...
I want y'all to focus on one part. Let me back up for a minute.
In the face of challenges, and neither does the city of Chicago.
Johnson wants to put at least $150 million towards services for new arrivals next year.
There will be no cutting off of the faucet. Johnson wants to put forth at least $150 million towards servicing, promoting, helping, advocating for migrants coming into the city for next year. Let me replay it for the people in the back. It might be some people that just got here. right after his speech.
Johnson wants to put at least $150 million towards services for new arrivals next year.
For new arrivals. So this has nothing to do with what the money has already been budgeted for the people that they servicing now. New tent city, new migrant shelter, opening every 6 days, over 60-something buses every single week. At some points, they're anticipating at least 25 buses a day. He said that we don't cower in the face of problems. Chicago is here. Chicago is going to be. Even Eric Adams, he runs the biggest city in the United States of America, and it's crazy. And Chicago says, listen, I see you one and I raise you $1 million. They said, listen, we're going to allocate $150 million next year, because this year is almost over. We almost in the fourth quarter, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to allocate at least $150 million. He said at least. He didn't say it was limited to. He didn't say that was the cap. He says at least $150 million for new arrivals. That has nothing to do with servicing the old arrivals. Has nothing to do with managing what they already have. Has nothing to do with putting together a comprehensive plan for short, mid, and long-term solutioning for continuing to be a sanctuary city. So now, here's my question. Where do they get this extra $150 million from? If they're already $684 million in the hole as far as having a budget deficit and growing, and they're also continuing to welcome into to Chicago people that we don't even know what their intention is. How do you think that this is going to play out, and why do you think that the residents are willing to accept this? Because I see a lot of people coming up on my show. They call in, they say that they got a disagreement with me. Everybody that got a disagreement with me is from Chicago. How's that? Everybody that got a disagreement with me is from Chicago. What is going on? You guys have hundreds of thousands of migrants, and you are trying to house them, clothe them, feed them, give them shelter, healthcare coverage, educate their children, and then make sure that you clean up after them. And then you're allocating an additional $150 million for next year for any new arrivals that may be coming in. You're taking in buses, and then Mayor Brandon Johnson has no solution whatsoever on how to solve for this crisis, but y'all just continue to vote for these people. How? How do y'all continue to let these people get away with it? Why do y'all think that this is reasonable? Y'all don't have the infrastructure. You don't have the housing. Cost of living is too high in Chicago. Crime is out of control. You got a war going on between Israel and Hamas. They sending out alerts. They saying that a lot of people don't even know who got in here and who didn't get in here. Come on, man. Somebody got to explain something to me. Somebody got to help me to understand why I'm off, why I shouldn't still be bringing Chicago, their voters, and Mayor Brandon Johnson to the front of the congregation. Let me see something. Give me a second. I just got to know what's going on. Chicago Mayor's Office. Call Mayor's Office. Got to go to the source. Shout out to O Block. Is there another number? Why the mayor ain't answering the phone?
Hello, Fiscal telephone, you may dial an extension at any time. For a directory of extensions, press 4. Otherwise, please hold for an operator. Sorry, the operator is not available. Record your message at the tone when you are...
We'll get them on the line. I'm just wondering what the hell is going on in Chicago. Well, we'll get there. Hi, my name is Anton Daniels, and I was just looking for a little bit of clarification. I don't know if there's anybody that can help me from the mayor's office.
Okay.
So, no, I'm trying to understand with regard to the whole sanctuary city migrant crisis, because I'm a potential developer, and I was really curious about developing in Chicago, and so I'm a little bit more hesitant right now, and I'm trying to understand exactly what the long-term plan is for the migrant crisis, considering that I was considering moving there. I'm over from Detroit, and I'm trying to figure out what the, if it's conducive for the business to actually move over to Chicago, what the long-term plan is for the city.
Hold on 1 moment, please.
Okay.
And you wanted to move as well as move your business to Chicago.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. May I have your name, please, sir?
Anton Daniels, Anton.
Daniels.
That's right. That's correct.
Oh, okay. And your phone number, sir?
Give me a second.
Thank you. And then is there an email address you'd like to share?
Yes, ma'am. You can use AntonDaniels413@gmail.com.
Thank you very much. I will get your message to our staff that is actually working on that at the moment, and have somebody contact you back.
I appreciate you. And what was your name again?
My name is Erica.
Thank you, Erica. You're so sweet.
You're very welcome, Anton. No problem at all.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Such a sweet girl. Such a sweet girl. Shout out to Erica, because I'm just curious. Listen, don't make me pull up on Mayor Brandon Johnson in Chicago and ask some investigative questions. I don't want to just make no phone calls. I need to know what is going on. Look at Miss K feeling some type of way. Why y'all worried about what's going on over here? We good over here in the city. I need to know what's going on with the worst mayor in America. Voted worst mayor in America. Voted worst mayor in America. I don't know what's going on with Chicago, and I need to know what's going on. Lamar said every Erica he know got cheeks. I'm going to Chicago. Should I go to Chicago this weekend? Give me a second. Because I'm supposed to be doing a Patreon live stream. Let me just double check something real quick. Hey, I'm on a live stream. Do we got anything that's on the calendar that's pertinent this weekend that we need to attend to? Because I'm thinking about going to Chicago and finding out what's going on.
Wow, I was just texting you to say that.
Go to Chicago and see what is happening in the streets.
Yep.
I ain't taking you with me.
Say what? Say huh?
I'm not taking you with me. It's too dangerous in Chicago. Do you know what's going on there? They got a crisis. They got O-Block. Chief Keef moved away. Everybody in Chicago is in despair, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
I'll be fine. I'm from Joy Road.
No. This is not a safe place for women. Women and children need to run from Chicago immediately.
I'll be fine.
I'll think about it. Let me talk to my people on the internet. Bye. Should I have an impromptu meetup in Chicago? Should we be protesting what's going on at the mayor's office? Do we need to get our signs out? Let me see when Erica called me back. We're going to see what's happening. Let me read some of the super chats and then we're going to continue over with the show because we need to bring some more people to the front of the congregation. Marriage, Politics, and Sports says, I would be satisfied with the jail time recommendation, speaking about Carlee Russell. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, my friend. On top of that, I want to make sure that I give an acknowledgement to Craig G. Craig G says, real bag chasers hit the like button. That's a fact, though. Shout out to you. Devastator. Chicago is about to become the new Sodom and Gilmore. I don't know where Sodom and Gilmore is, but I know what Sodom and Gomorrah is. And I partially agree with you. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Devastator. Miss Crow T. Shetty in the building says, I'm going to drop this off in a collection plate. Thank you, Miss Crow T. Shetty. I appreciate you, love. Millennial Mark TV, my guy, I like Millennial Mark TV, says, I really want to know what's stopping the voter base in Chicago from initiating a recall and getting them out of office because they voted for him and they like him. I might hit the streets of Chicago, honestly, this weekend. I might catch a flight, see what's going, because if I catch a flight, I can land right over here in the airport. I heard a whole lot of people sleeping in the airport and see what's happening. Do some real on-the-ground work in Chicago. Get them out of office. Complaining clearly isn't working. That guy has to go. Bree Powered in the building says, I'm from East Chicago, Indiana, and I agree with you 100%. We're going to see what's happening in Chicago. I might pull up this weekend. I got to do a Patreon exclusive this weekend, so I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But I might have to pull up to Chicago this weekend and see what's happening. Y'all said I'm banned from Chicago. Is Anton from Anton Daniels banned from Chicago? Tell me I'm not banned from the worst city in America right now. Tell me I'm not banned in Brandon Johnson's Chicago. Shout out to Devastator. You said it auto-corrected you. I got you. Tell me I'm not banned from Chicago. Am I banned from Chicago? I can't go to Chicago? Why I can't go to Chicago? Let me continue. We got some more people that we need to bring to the front of the congregation. I think that Shawn Fain, for those of you that's not familiar with Shawn Fain is the president, not vice president, not secretary, not treasurer, not none of that. Aaron ain't even in Chicago. He ain't been in Chicago in like 15 years, so we ain't worried about Aaron. I believe that Shawn Fain is quite possibly one of the worst UAW presidents of all time. Now, I know a lot of y'all not going to agree with me until you start getting your pockets hit a little bit more because they've been doing rollouts as far as what it is that they striking over for the UAW as far as the big three. But how dare you cripple and destroy and run into the ground and bankrupt these good American companies that employ and supply all of America's needs, that has been here since you were born, since before you were born. They are the best-selling vehicles of all time as far as the F-Series for 42 years in a row in the United States of America. And Shawn Fain is doing in 5 minutes, in 3 weeks. He's doing in 3 weeks what the American economy, even what George Bush and them did in 2008, couldn't do. They couldn't bankrupt Ford. Ford was the only automaker, Ford and Tesla was the only automakers that did not, the United States automakers, the only ones that did not file for bankruptcy. And y'all keep wondering why we don't want to build companies or whatever, because they employ the people. They empower the people that don't have your best interests at heart. Shawn Fain automatically became a CEO, chief negotiator, and head of the union, voted on by the people based off of running for office. Y'all vote him in. Shawn Fain, y'all voted him as y'all president. And this man is determined to bankrupt our automakers. Wow. And you guys are willing to go down with the ship, all because y'all jealous of the UPS workers, and they're going to be making 170 bands. Benjamin Button says, paying off my student loans in 12 months. Thanks, Anton. Let's get an update on what's going on in the auto industry so that I can better help y'all to understand what is happening out here in these streets.
Hey, UAW family. Just wanted to give you a quick update. We are here at Ford's Dearborn headquarters, and unfortunately, we've had to escalate our action. The bargaining committee here at Ford's been busting their asses, working hard for the membership, Vice President Browning and the whole team. You know, we came here today to get another offer from Ford. Unfortunately, this offer was the exact same offer they gave us 2 weeks ago. In our position, they're not taking this serious. We've been very patient working with the company on this. At the end of the day, they have not met expectations. They're not even coming to the table on it. So at this point, we had to take action, and we made a call to President Todd Dunn down at Kentucky Truck Plant. And as of 6:30 this evening, John Jager, who is on the committee, he's the shop chair down there, John and Chuck Browning, Vice President Browning, and myself, and the entire bargaining committee made the call down there, and John Jager was able to let Todd Dunn know that at 6:30 this evening they are to walk out and go on strike and stand up and join the fight. Unfortunate that the company's put us in this position, but they made it happen. It's on them. They have to own it. You know, we've been doing things a certain way. Every Friday we've been doing Facebook Live updates to make announcements. So we had to choose to do things differently this way, and that's what we've done this time. So the good thing about this is a flexible option, so we had to make a decision. The companies aren't going to come to the table and take care of the membership's needs. Then we will react. The bargaining committees, the vice presidents, and the membership are standing united, and that's how we're going to get this done. We'll update you as more things progress. So
this is crazy. I have never seen anything like this in my entire life. Of all the things that I've able to been witnessed in my entire life, I've never seen the people revolt against the leadership and tell them what they're going to do with their company in order to ensure that they do what they tell them to do. I've never seen this happen in my 41 years on the face of this earth. I've never seen somebody just bully and run a company into the ground the way that I've seen this happen and let this play out. Wow. And you telling me that there's no rights for the company to be able to divest themselves from what is going on with these people and completely, oh man. They got promo. This is straight from the UAW's YouTube channel that the comments is turned off on. And they putting background music. They recording it in front of the very locations that they're going to destroy. Let me tell y'all what Kentucky Truck Plant is. Let me tell y'all why this is so important. The Kentucky Truck Plant is the most profitable plant. As a matter of fact, it's so profitable, it basically supports and stands up the overwhelming majority of the company. There's other plants that's not even profitable. And we're just using Ford as an example right now, but it's other companies, other plants within the company that's not even profitable at all. And this is the plant that's basically the backbone, because the F-Series is literally the best-selling vehicle in the United States for the last 42 years, and it's the most profitable vehicle, right? This is the thing that powers the company. This is the thing that they're using as leverage in order to then build the infrastructure and the technology of tomorrow and the research and development, because they have to make as much money as they can off of internal combustion engine vehicles now so that they can fund being able to compete with Tesla and Chinese automakers and the Koreans and the Japanese automakers going forward. Because let's be clear, nothing is stopping over at Toyota and Hyundai and BYD. A lot of y'all not even familiar with BYD, but BYD is taking over Europe. They're starting to bring their cars here in the United States of America. BYD is the largest Chinese automaker. And they are starting to become good cars, and they're starting to flood things. And this is the reason why Toyota and Honda started taking over in the United States in the first place, and now the Toyota Camry and the Honda Accord became the best-selling cars in the United States of America. And so we had to pivot over to trucks. And you just keep on seeing that level of erosion that's happened inside of the United States of America. And so instead of partnering, they said that we're going to use escalation tactics in order to hold Ford hostage and make sure that we bring them to the front of the congregation. Okay, well, let's give an update on what's going on at the Kentucky truck plant, because did you know that the Kentucky truck plant generates $25 billion a year for a Ford Motor Company? The Kentucky truck plant generates $25 billion a year for Ford Motor Company.
Fox News' Dave Kinchin spoke with one of those workers. And Dave, how's he holding up?
You know, he's doing the best he can, and of course that comes with this very shocking news by the UAW with this surprise strike at the Kentucky facility for Ford. You know, it was a bit quiet as these negotiations go, a bit quiet on this day 27, believe it or believe it not, of this historic UAW strike against all members of the Detroit Three. About 9,000 workers walking off the job there in Kentucky over disagreements. They're still not quite on the same page with Ford as it relates to the battery plants for EVs and whether that work will be fully under the UAW. Meantime, workers like the gentleman you're about to meet, they're simply doing the best they can.
It's been a struggle, you know, mentally, financially, just trying to just make a way every day.
When he's not on the picket lines with his UAW brothers and sisters at Ford Michigan Assembly.
Wait. Before we get into his story, I'm just curious. He got a dog with him? Did he buy a dog and die alone? He got a whole dog with him? Wait. Hold on, family. What I'm trying to understand is, who is the critter that is laying in your arms next to you while you're interviewing, talking about how you struggling? Yo, listen. One thing that I realized in my life is that if I was going to go on this journey, I couldn't really have a whole lot of baggage with me. You know what I'm saying? I already got my mouth to feed. I ain't got another mouth to feed. I can't be taking care of somebody that can't even talk English to me. But I'm sorry. Let's continue.
Every day.
When he's not on the picket lines with his UAW brothers and sisters at Ford Michigan Assembly in Wayne, Clint Washington is trying to get through the tough times. But at least now he has some help from his little buddy, Freddie.
I just picked him up yesterday. You know, and I needed him in my life, as a support animal. I got to figure out a way to get him registered as that. So
Wait. Y'all need y'all got support animals over there at the UAW? Grown men is on camera talking about they need them to get through the day. Oh man, it must be bad out here. It's a recession for real. I mean, listen, I plan on talking about real estate in my next segment. But good grief, God almighty, y'all need, I ain't never heard a grown man said that I need a support animal because it's rough out here because my plan is striking because the UAW and Ford have not come to an agreement yet. I've never seen such, I was not expecting this. You can go and get you some box. You can go get you a little hood rat over there. You know what I'm saying? If you head over to, I ain't going to tell y'all where to go and get you some hood rats over in the D. I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to get you caught up. Some of y'all got wives and y'all going to be showing up tomorrow talking about, Anton told me I can come get me a little hood rat over here. No, I didn't. Don't lie on me. I never told you to pull up. He can go get him a little hood rat. You know what I'm saying? Go chill, go kick it. He said, I'm going to do the safe thing. I'm going to get me a support animal. Look like a rat to me.
So that way he can be with me to support me during these hard times mentally.
Clint is like so many picketing workers living on just $500 a week in strike pay with no end in sight to the stalemate between the UAW and the Big Three.
It's tough trying to figure out how I'm going to pay my rent, how I'm going to pay my car note, how I'm going to pay my car insurance, put groceries in my house.
He's now working at Taco Bell and driving for Uber just to make ends meet.
Talk about a humbling experience. You went from making $32 an hour with the best benefits in the world, and Sean Fain got y'all crashing out working at Taco Bell and driving for Uber. I didn't even know that you could still get strike pay if you working at Taco Bell. Ain't that illegal? Somebody called it. Somebody get these watchdogs out here. Hey, I'm curious. Can you get strike pay if you have another job and you drive an Uber? Can you get strike pay if you got somebody? Fill me in. Anybody that's working with the UAW, anybody that's an auto worker, fill me in. Can you get strike pay if you get another job and you driving for Uber? If you work at Taco Bell and you a W-2 employee and you working for Uber, can you get strike pay? And I want my tacos hot, hot, hot. I want my tacos hot. I want my money. I want my cars built. It can't go over $500. It's not our ass. Brittany, fill me in. You can't go more than $500 a week. Isn't strike pay for doing your time on the picket line? And y'all got to do time on the picket line like a prisoner? Y'all got to get back on that gun line, boss? Yo, I want my tomatoes chopped. I want my lettuce right. I want my tacos hot. I want my chiquitos, burritos, gorditos. I want everything hot. I want my junk toasted. I want my sour cream in there. And you better give me my extra taco packets. And don't skip out on the taco packets trying to be cheap. And I'm not tipping either. I'm not tipping. They said that I was a Nigerian anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and act just like the Nigerians. I'm not tipping. And I want my tacos hot. I'm just messing with y'all. Shout out to my UAW members that's on that gun line, boss, with them picket lines. And when I get when I'm done building these houses, I'm not leasing out to UAW members because y'all likely to strike, and then y'all gonna be talking about Anton. I ain't gonna be able to pay my rent this month. Anybody that's working at Ford, Chrysler, or GM, you are now absolved of ever being able to rent a property from me because I don't want y'all talking about, well, my strike pay ain't come in today and I got to feed my little rat that I got in my hand. I want you guys on that line building that new pickup truck that I'm thinking about getting and getting stuff taken care of. Don't sit here and talking about, and my check ain't come in today. I don't want to hear that shit. Pay your rent, fam.
And he does the math over and over.
Just so I can just put all these dollars in place, so I can put these bills in place and figure out how I can pay this one and not be broke this week and pay that one and still have some money that week and put these two savings together from those two checks and pay that third bill. I mean, come on.
Hey, the math ain't mathing. Meanwhile, Sean Fame over there looking like a bad bitch. No, you know what? I take that back. I am resolving myself. I'm going back to my original thing. I'm not going to be cussing because somebody sent me an email and somebody sent me a DM and y'all just keep hitting me up and saying, Anton, we love watching your show with the family, but we can't keep watching if you cussing. Okay, well, y'all be watching all of these movies that be cussing, but I get you. I'm not going to be cussing. Sean Fain out here with his skinny khakis on. Look at all of these linebackers walking over to the UAW bargaining table. Got his skinny khakis on, his fatigue shirt. All of them got dad bods. And they out there negotiating y'all contract for y'all looking like mob bosses. Come on, fam. And let me tell you something, Freddie. Let me go back to Freddie real quick. Let me tell you something, Freddie. No matter how many times you do the math ain't mathing, big dog. You can move, you can carry the one. You can move the one over to the tens column. You could do it any way. You could do the new math. You can do the old math. I know a lot of y'all be having trouble helping y'all kids with the math. But let me tell you something, Freddie. The math is the math, and it does not change. If you have less coming in and more going out, nobody wants to hear your excuses. They want their rent at the end of the month. They want their car note. They want their rent. They going to hit you with them late fees. You know, when you start getting them skinny envelopes inside of the mail from your bank and they keep telling you got overdraft fees, Guess what? Sean Fain and his buddies over here.
Money that week and put these two.
Let me show you what Sean Fain
savings
and his
together
buddies
from
doing.
those two checks and pay that third bill. I mean, come on.
Meantime, UAW.
Meanwhile, Sean Fain over there eating good. He ain't missing a meal. Action Jackson over there on the right-hand side. He feeling comfortable being in front of the camera. All of y'all got y'all shirt tucked into y'all khakis thinking that y'all cute. We don't want to hear nothing. We don't want to hear nothing. You made your bed. You got it. You don't want to go to work. You stood on it. Yeah, we going to break the company. We going to get our money. By the time it's all over, credit going to be bad. Late fees. You going to have to go and get you a, what's this called? What's the name of that thing called? Where they go and get that, a payday advance where you got to pay 720% interest. All payday advance is killing right now. The payday advance places is on fire right now, getting all of the money. All right, so let's see what these bad chicks is doing for y'all.
UAW President Sean Fain is upping the pressure on the automakers with a surprise.
This man is getting famous off y'all. Y'all don't realize that? This man is literally getting famous off y'all. And y'all don't even realize it. Sean Fain is basically becoming an overnight celebrity on y'all. And he probably got his Instagram followers up. Let me pull up Sean Fain on Instagram. He got an Instagram. He got a bad chick taking pictures in the mirror. Let me see. Sean Fain. I didn't think he was gonna get this type of pushback. Who was Sean Fain, UAW Instagram? He got an Instagram? Somebody send me Sean Fain's Instagram. Sean Fain. UAW. What's Sean Fain's Instagram? I need to know. Because he over here getting famous on y'all. He over here getting famous on y'all. And y'all out here struggling, getting new jobs. Y'all should have been working at Taco Bell anyway in order to pay off that debt.
Strike of nearly 9,000 workers at Ford's Kentucky truck plant.
This will bring at Ford the amount of production that they've had affected up to close to 34% of their total production.
Wayne State business professor Merrick Masters says UAW leadership still has some big punches to pull, and Fain might just announce some of those in yet another Facebook Live update scheduled for Friday morning.
I think what he's trying to do is put the other two companies in a position where they can make a counteroffer between now and Friday to try and avert that, and if they don't.
So the question then becomes who breaks first? That's really what it is. It's a race to the bottom. Who breaks first? And this is the thing. We're not going to forget this. I'm not going to forget it. I'm not going to forget this. When y'all say support the UAW and all of this and buy American, I'm not going to forget it. I'm not going to forget it.
He's probably going to announce strikes. He's already indicated that the Arlington facility at GM was their target last week, that they averted at the last minute.
Now, in a statement released by Ford responding to the UAW's latest move with that Kentucky truck plant, the Ford says that they actually defended their latest offer that apparently the UAW is not digging at all. Ford also said in the statement that the move by the UAW is, quote, unsurprising given the union leadership's stated strategy of keeping the Detroit Three wounded for months through, quote, reputational chaos and industrial chaos. Now, that's a reference to leaked messages from a top UAW aide talking about how the union is going to go about their strike strategy against the Detroit Three. Reporting live, Dave Kinchin, Fox 2 News.
I would fire everybody. I would completely fire everybody, including Fast Freddy right here. Fast Food Freddy, you go into the unemployment line, buddy. Yeah, you don't even get unemployment because you already found a new job and you have to be seeking employment, gainful employment. You can get underemployment, but I'm getting rid of everybody. Honestly, if it was me, the years leading up to this, I would be trying to figure out how to completely divest myself from it altogether. I would have already had a workforce lined up. I would have been investing all of the money that they now losing as a result of keeping these plants idle to build other plants and stuff like that. I would right size my business. I would have Juarez and Jesus over there making all of the trucks over there in Mexico, and I would be running that junk up. I would be running it up. We wouldn't miss a beat. I would break you. I would absolutely break you in every way, shape, and form. I will use every possible resource at my disposal to break you. You want to go left? I'm going to go right. If anybody wants to get hired back in, you can get hired in under the new company that's no longer unionized. What is the rights? How do you do this? How do you divest yourself from a union altogether? I'm trying to understand. I'm going to do a little bit of research. Hey, CEOs at Ford, Chrysler, and GM, hit me up. I got a strategy for y'all. I'm going to show you how to, don't get mad at me. I'm a businessman. I look at it from the capitalistic perspective. If you going to sit here and hold me accountable as a result of it, and you got Fast Food Freddy over there working at Taco Bell nowadays, you got Fast Food Freddy. Man, let me tell you something. I'm different, bro. I'm a whole nother animal. I will fire anybody. I will fire the person that I lay next. If you don't think that I would fire Rita from her job if she wasn't meeting, I'm not discriminatory. I'm all the way. Listen, I love my chick. I love my daughter. I love my chick. I have fired family members all day long. I have fired my brother before. He said, Anton, I don't agree with the way that we doing things over here. I was like, well, in order for us to save our friendship and to save our relationship as brothers, we're going to have to go about our own way. You think I'm fronting? You think I'm fronting? I will fire anybody. He told me, he said, Anton, I don't think that this is going to work out for me then. I think I'm going to have to leave. Straight up, that is a fact. I said, well, in order for us to save our brothership, looks like we're going to be going our own way.
Daniels, how can I help you?
What's going on? I'm on a live stream.
Oh, man. Okay.
Hey, when we had a disagreement at the restaurant, what wound up happening?
Which time?
The last time.
I quit. I told you that I didn't want to be here no more because there was no point in ruining our relationship over, a restaurant job or, being at the restaurant when it didn't really matter. And so I left.
I appreciate it. Thank you for telling the truth.
What? That's it?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I needed.
Oh, man. Okay.
All right.
Oh, bye.
It ain't personal. It's never personal. It's never personal. If we don't agree and it's my shit and it's my stuff, I'm going to give you the option to quit or it ain't personal. We going to still be brothers at the end of the day. I love you. I'm going to see you at the next family gathering. We gonna do what we do, but we just can't see eye to eye on this, so we going to go our own way. I don't believe in all of that. I don't believe in none of this stuff that y'all see going on right now. I am not the one to be playing no games with. I will nuke everything, run it all over, and do it a whole nother different way. Because when it come to the bag, it ain't never personal. It's always business. But it then becomes personal when it affects my business. And if I don't have, and I expect for them to do it the same way. If I'm a part of what it is that you do, right? If I'm a part of what it is that you got going on, then I expect to very much be in the same space and to be following your orders the way that you see fit. And so I don't understand it. I don't get how people can bully you and they the employees. How you gonna tell me what it is that I'm gonna do? You got the option to stick around or you got the option to leave. It's up to you. You have the option to stick around or you have the option to leave. It's up to you. But I'm never, ever going to let nobody hold my business hostage telling me what it is that they deserve. And that's crazy. That's crazy. So I don't know. I'm just curious as to how much power the union have with this whole thing, but everybody would be gone. Everybody would be on the street. And then we would all learn the lesson. I will start over. If we need to file for bankruptcy, then we will. We will reorganize and we'll get a whole new workforce. And then we'll reissue an IPO in order to raise money under the new company. And all of the people would then support the company because the investors would feel like it's a healthier company and we can compete more effectively with the other companies that's paying the equivalent of $45 to $75 an hour per employee in order to build these vehicles. GM did it. Chrysler did it. They reorganized. They got a leg up on Ford. They didn't have the same legacy costs. They offset or threw a lot of these costs over into the UAW, which is one of the reasons they're trying to give it back to them. No. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. So I'm in a whole different space. I'm a different type of person, and that's why I warned y'all to make sure that y'all get y'all money up because you don't want to be subjected to what Sean Fain got going on for y'all. J-Dub says, no disrespect, but the auto workers' jobs can easily be replaced by machines. It's already going to happen. There's no technological replacement for UPS drivers or the railroad workers who almost went on strike. The UAW will lose. I don't know what's going to happen right now. I have no idea what's going to happen. David Simpson Jr. says, the same people pro-union balk at slow innovation. Greg Charlie in the building. I appreciate you, Greg. Greg says, as a UAW member, I do not support grown men with support animals. This is what make people not take us serious. That man needs a support animal because he got to go check in for that shift, that nighttime shift at Taco Bell. And I want my onions. Well, you don't put onions. I want my tomatoes and my lettuce chopped fine. Professor X says Will Smith had his support animal when the world ended. Let this man live. Hey, I'm not going to hit on support animals. Shout out to Noob S with a couple of 2 balls. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for holding me down. You are absolutely awesome. And then last but not least, let me also give a shout out to Greatness to Work says every hourly worker should unionize. If not for unions, everyone will make $10 an hour or illegals would take over. Kaiser medical workers striking also. Okay, go ahead. Unionize. It's a reason why all of these other plants from all of these other automakers decided not to unionize and they voted against the union. It's a reason for that. You know what they did when they started unionizing at Starbucks? They started shutting stores down. It's like, oh, you want to unionize? Okay. All right, we got it. Go ahead. Listen, I support everybody's right to unionize under the laws of the United States of America. Just respect my right to get you on up out of there and start a whole new company under a whole new name and then be able to get some whole new workers that actually want to do what you do at less the cost. They're going to be happy to do it, and we're going to take care of them. We're going to provide for them accordingly. I'm all for it. I think that everybody deserves the right to unionize, but I also reserve the right to be able to run my company how I see fit. I'm all for it. Let's get into this housing market recession because there's a lot of conversations about interest rates, inflation, recession, availability, housing costs, all of the things that you guys are very much interested in as far as whether or not you're going to be able to afford a home and become a home buyer. Reading Super Chat shortly. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I might head to Chicago today. Either way, this week I am going to be doing a live stream on the Patreon. So again, make sure you subscribe. Turn on your notifications and let's get it rocking. Let's talk about the housing market really quickly before we end the show.
Property prices are rising across the U.S., and that is, in fact, in part because of these higher interest rates.
Correct. Now, this surge is causing many Americans to wonder, are we barreling toward a housing market crash? Well, a recent report from S&P CoreLogic shows home prices rose annually by 1% in July. This marks the 6th consecutive month of increases.
Now, what I keep hearing from a lot of different YouTubers, and I haven't done the research because the only thing I care about is what's going on in my market in particular. And if it does not affect the market that I'm investing in, then I'm not really necessarily caring about it. But everything I see across the internet, around YouTube specifically, which is one of the reasons why I just take into consideration what they're saying. I look and see what the data is saying. I look at the cover photo. I look at the name of the live stream or the name of the video that they dropping, and they say, oh my God, housing is crashing nationwide, and they're dropping prices by 33% for every single home that's sold. Well, when I look at what Money Watch and CBS and Yahoo News and all of this, and I start to do my own research, year over year, home prices are actually increasing. So that means that inflation is still high. The Fed is still leveraging inflation in order to run up the numbers, in order to tamp down inflation, because at one point it was at like 9%, 10%, which is very, very bad. And it's saying that home prices are up 1% year over year. So that means that there are still buyers in the market. As soon as a property hits the market, it is selling in most industries, especially in affordable places. People still need places to live, even though they're getting evicted. And housing market is remaining steady. And so when they're telling you that a 2008 style crash is coming, I don't necessarily see it that way, but we're going to mine this out.
Additionally, the National Association of Realtors reports median home prices are up nearly 4% year over year as of August.
So the median home prices is up 4%. Also, interesting.
Was the highest median price ever recorded for the month.
So the highest median price ever recorded for the month. The highest median price that has ever been recorded. Listen, I'm just reading based off of what the news is telling me, and then I'm going to mine it out accordingly and give you what my opinion is as to what most people should do if they decide that they want to buy a house. Let's continue.
Mark Hamrick joins us now. He's a senior economic analyst for Bankrate. Mark, always good to talk to you. So
shout out to
interest
Mark.
rates are at the highest that they've been in more than 2 decades. Experts say higher interest rates tend to usually bring home prices down.
Right.
But in this case, we are seeing a spike. That may seem counterintuitive.
Yeah,
so
it's like, help us understand. I've been asking this question to myself. It's really starting to bother me.
And demand.
I know, but I was never good at that.
Nothing like a bunch of women that just goes off script and they start talking to each other about how delusional they are about what's going on in the market. But they ask this man a question. He's sitting there looking like a deer in headlights because he's trying to answer the question. He probably got his remarks already prepared in order to have this conversation. And these chicks is going off script. Listen to these chicks. Hey, Mark, we want to get your insight on what's going on. But we got you up here as our expert. What is going on, Mark? Because I was thinking, yeah, girl, okay.
More than 2 decades. Experts say higher interest rates tend to usually bring home prices down.
Right.
But in this case, we are seeing a spike. That may seem counterintuitive.
Yeah,
so
it's like, help us understand. I've been asking this question to myself. It's really starting to bother me.
And demand.
I know, but I was never good at that.
Get into it for us.
Sure. I don't mean to interrupt, but no, this is a confounding situation to many people here, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you both, Jerika and Lana. I think the main thing that's lending support to home prices here is the lack of supply of available homes for sale. And this is directly attributable to the current mortgage rate situation. You know, we've seen this spike in mortgage rates recently from the high 2% range a couple of years ago, low 3% range. The bank rate average for the 30-year fixed rate mortgage most recently is 7.80%. And as you said,
7.8% for a 30-year. I think it's 6.7% for a 15. 7.8%. And people are going to automatically opt for the 30-year when they get a mortgage. They're going to opt for the 30-year when they get the mortgage because they want to stretch the payments out longer. It's going to kill them. It is going to be worse for them. They're going to pay more interest over a longer period of time. They're going to spend more on that house. The investment in that property, they're largely going to resign to the fact that the property probably appreciated over the period that they owned it, but it doesn't necessarily account for the true cost of home ownership. 7.8%. I don't think any of y'all have seen this in y'all lifetime. I don't think that any of y'all have seen it. Somebody told me that they got 40-year mortgages now. I'm going to have to find out.
That's the highest since the year 2000. So this is having what's been
40-year mortgage, that's your whole lifetime.
described as a so-called lock-in effect, and I guess I could say in a sense I'm part of the problem, because the home that I'm sitting in right now is one that we purchased with a low mortgage rate, and like millions of other homeowners across the country, we are loath to move from this location, knowing that if we move elsewhere, we'll have to pay a lot for a home, and to finance that, presumably if we were to use a home loan, at a high rate of interest. And so that's keeping homes off the market.
So it really feels like if you got in on that 2 and 3%,
you don't want to move.
You shouldn't move right now.
So basically what he's breaking down to you guys is that the reason why the housing market is operating the way that it is, and that most people that want to move or can move or even have the option to move, is because they don't want to sell, because they know that they'd have to finance and then get another mortgage at 7.8% if they was to go over there and get a 30-year mortgage. So you stuck. You're literally a prisoner in your own home, and you can't afford to move. Meanwhile, your property taxes is going to go up. You still got to make that payment. If you over there and you working at Taquito Taco Bell like Fast Freddy over there on the last segment that's striking for the UAW, you still got to get your mortgage popping. There is no moratorium, no rental assistance, no none of that. Listen. No COVID, no nothing. You are basically a prisoner in your own home because you cannot afford to move, considering that if you sell your home, you still have to finance a new home at a 7.8 interest rate when you probably got it at 2.8% a few years ago. You are trapped in your own home, which keeps the market intact, because as long as the Fed continues to raise rates, it is keeping you in the space that you don't even necessarily want to be in.
It just doesn't. I mean, I shouldn't say you shouldn't, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult, because you know you're going to take, if you are taking out a 15 or 30-year mortgage, you're going to pay more than what you did 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, the monthly payment difference compared to that low mortgage rate period not that long ago could be something on the order of 30 to 50%. And so that is quite difficult to swallow. You know, we have a saying at Bankrate, people don't get married because wedding dresses go on sale. There are going to be some people who need to get moving anyway for whatever reason. And so this is obviously causing some constraints. And the affordability issue is really among the worst we've seen in many decades.
So, Mark, bottom line it for us. With supply being so limited, does it appear that the housing market will continue to have these inflated prices, or do you think that a crash or even a leveling off is coming anytime soon?
Well, first of all, crash is a rather high or low standard, depending on how you look at it, meaning that that's a rather severe event, and that's the likes of which was essentially unprecedented during the great financial crisis. So I don't think anybody is really looking for anything like that. Could you see further cooling in some of the previously red-hot markets across the country? Absolutely. And very often those increases in home prices, when they are so far outside the pale of the increases, for example, in wages and wealth, that is the definition of unsustainable. I think.
So basically he's saying that inflation in your particular market, or the cooling of the home prices based off of wherever it is that you live, is going to affect you differently depending on where you are in the country. So if you live in a market, I'm assuming he didn't name any specific markets, but let's just guess, right, for the sake of conversation. Let's say that you live in a market like California, or in specific parts of California, right? And prices are still going up in California, even though that crime is just running rampant. And you're not in San Diego, you over there in San Francisco, and you got people that's walking down the street in this homeless tents, and they, taking poops on the grass and on the lawn, and UAW members is striking and all of this other type of stuff, right? Well, in that instance and in that particular situationship, right, that market may be cooling a little bit based off of the fact that they can't find any suitable buyers that want to live in that environment and continue to subject themselves to the policies that's happening over there. So it could possibly cool over there. Whereas there may be people over in California that sell their homes and then, for example, move into San Antonio, Austin, Houston, Dallas. And they say, wow, this is a lot more affordable. And so we're going to push up the market in Texas because we made a lot of money based off of the appreciation of our homes over in California. then there may be some institutional investors over there, but then over there in Texas is going up even higher because the institutional investors are also competing against the regular everyday buyers and the cash buyers that's coming in overseas that are then starting to park some money over here in the United States of America. And so that pushes up the home prices over in Texas, for example, and then that throws off the market. And then you combine it with the fact that a lot of these people are house poor, but they can't afford to move. A lot of y'all are stuck with women that you didn't even want to be with. And why are you stuck with women that you didn't want to be with? Well, because you became interdependent on each other in order to survive. And so now it's not just about staying together for the kids. It's staying together because y'all can't afford to do anything different unless you're just a wild one and you don't care about the business prospects of what's going on in your relationship and you don't necessarily want to sell the home. But a lot of y'all going to have to downsize because winter is coming. Y'all getting into arguments. He losing his job because he's striking with the UAW. You feeling some type of way about it. You said I can do good by myself. And so as a result, we have more inflation happening within the real estate market because somebody like me then comes and take advantage of you guys because I understand that she's a modern woman and he's a man that's laid off from the UAW and he supports Sean Fain. And so I'm going to take advantage of it and hopefully get that house at a discount or that land and then build something on top of it that allows for me to then continue to increase my portfolio. So my point is this, is that if you're getting into real estate, it's always going to be tumultuous. I connected it to men too, Carrie. If you're getting into real estate, it is going to be a tumultuous ride going forward. There's going to be a disproportionate amount of people that are still trying to buy homes because they still believe in the American dream. There's also going to be a disproportionate amount of people that want to get out of their homes, but they can't necessarily get out of that home because then they'd be house poor because they can't afford to finance another home at the rates by which it's going to continue to go up. I think that rates are going to continue to go up. I think that you're going to see some disruption in the market going forward, especially in 2024. I believe that you need to come up with an alternative plan as to how it is that you can be successful in the real estate industry. Buying and flipping is not necessarily the move, in my opinion. If you make a lot of money, then I think that there's some spaces for you to park some money inside of real estate. If you don't make a lot of money, then I think that you need to look at real estate from a business perspective and not just from a home ownership perspective because the market is now forcing you to do so. If you are not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I will be updating the Patreon with the upcoming live stream, and I need to figure out whether or not I'm going to be in Chicago because I need to see what's happening in Chicago. But remember this, home ownership is not just based off of what your payment is. The true cost of home ownership is based off of what? How much it's costing you to actually stand at home. Property taxes, PMI if you only put 3.5% down instead of 20%. Homeowners insurance, property taxes, maintenance, the interest rates that you're going to pay over a period of time, right? Energy bills, repairs as far as all when you got to put a roof on it or when the furnace goes out or, you know what I'm saying, when your basement flood and all of this other type of stuff. The true cost of home ownership, you need to be taking into consideration as far as looking at everything from a business perspective. AVG man said something. He said, what about trying to be a real estate agent? Well, you got to compete against other real estate agents, but let me throw that in also as a part of the cost of home ownership. If you own a home and then you sell a home, you're still going to have to pay that 6%, 3% to the seller, 3% over to the buyer's agent. And then you got to pay 1% over into the title company, right? So now if you selling a $400,000 and some $1,000 home, then you're going to be paying $30,000 in real estate fees. And then that ain't even including the taxes if you're buying and flipping at the same time. So it's so many different things that factors into the true cost of home ownership and then what method or what way you want to get into real estate. Some people want to be flippers, but they don't really understand the costs that come along with it. You also got to pay the interest rates on hard money loans, and then you're trying to hurry up and get this thing taken care of while working with different contractors and trying to pull permits and all of this stuff, right? Your market is largely going to depend on how fast that you can move as far as flipping. And then you also got to take into consideration location. Right? Location. Stop speculating and trying to buy and flip something that's cheap and it's in a depressed area and you think you're going to make some money from it and then you get stuck with it. You can't get rid of it. And then also on top of that, you got Airbnb disrupting Dallas and New York and everything, right? So I just want y'all to take this into consideration. Every situation is unique. And so you have to vet it out accordingly. We need to see what your goals are. It may not be best for you to actually buy a home. You may need to stay in your mama's basement for a little bit longer, right? David Simpson Jr. says buying land makes more sense now. Well, it depends on what you're going to do with it. Are you holding on to the land just to be a speculator? Are you holding on to the land in order to build a house? What's the true cost of building a house? That's what I'm breaking down inside of my Patreon right now. So listen, y'all, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Hopefully you find value in entertainment and everything that we do every day. UAW members, go and get them jobs. Mickey D's, Taco Bell, Burger King, Chipotle. And I want to see a smile on your face when I pull up to you inside of the line over there at, what's the chicken place that be closed on Sunday? What's the chicken place? Somebody tell me the chicken place that be closed on Sunday. What's the name of it? I want to see a smile on your face. What's the name of the chicken place? Chick-fil-A. When I pull up to the line at Chick-fil-A, I don't want to see no sad faces. You got your support animal. Make sure that he gets you in a good mood before you get to work, because I want my fries hot, I want my chicken crispy, and I want my bacon on top of whatever burger that you make for me, all right? I love you guys. I appreciate you. You guys are the most awesome people on the face of this earth. Let me give an acknowledgement to Charles Keys Sr. Says no move to Thailand for $50,000. I don't know what the criteria is for that, but I'll have to do a little bit of research. Brock, maybe I'll do a moving overseas show tomorrow. That's a good idea. Shout out to you. Brock says a pass of love offering. Shout out to Brock. Listen. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Somebody said, can the UAW be an AD moderator while on strike? I don't know. I might have a job for y'all. Y'all know we get the bag over here, right? Shout out to the Chasers. Shout out to all of the new Patreon members. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I have to go over to the bank because I got to send a wire over to acquire this new property. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here, though. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. Carrie, baby, is in the building. I ain't even have to call Carrie today. I don't know if she was on time or not, but we just going to pretend like she was. Shout out to Mary, Carrie, and all of my people that's out here that's getting to the bag. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.